I think the hypocrisy is what gets me the most with you guys. See, I do have a lot of mental and physical health issues. I've been to doctors, I've gotten actual diagnoses. They're not made up. I was on medication, I was in treatment. But y'all don't believe any of that. For over a year now, you've insisted that there's nothing wrong with me. I've made everything up just to keep from going to prison for a murder that I didn't commit. I made it all up. I've never been sick. Nobody in my family has ever been sick a day in their lives. We're all such perfect human beings. There's never been any abuse or illness. It's just been such a perfect life. Y'all have been saying that for the past year, right? I'm not schizophrenic. I'm not bipolar. I definitely don't have CPTSD. I don't have borderline personality. I don't struggle with alopecia. Y'all were actually in my comments telling me that I don't have alopecia. I shaved those spots in my head. Or I pulled my hair out. But then, if you can think of a disorder that you think is funny, that you can make fun of somebody for, you'll say that I have that. You'll come and say, well, you look like you have fetal alcohol syndrome. Do you? If I had fetal alcohol syndrome, would you accept it as a diagnosis? Or would you start to say she doesn't have that, she's a liar, she's just a liar, there's nothing wrong with her, she's just a liar? So here's my question. Why is it that for you, I'm allowed to have FAS? Because if I had FAS, you would be able to make fun of me. Because that's a disorder that you think is funny. Look, she looks different. It's so funny. Right? So you'll allow me to have certain disorders that I haven't been diagnosed with, only if they will give you mockery opportunity. But then the multitude of disorders I've actually been diagnosed with and in treatment for and struggling with, you won't allow me to have those. You'll continue to say that those don't exist. Those aren't mine. I stole those issues from other people. I've never had a problem in my life. Why is it that doctors have diagnosed me with things that none of you will ever believe I have? But you will diagnose me with things that I've never had as fuel for jokes. What's funny about fetal alcohol syndrome? Well, they're saying your features are wrong. Your eyes are too close together or too far apart, and that's proof that you have FAS, okay? If I do, what is that to do with you? If my mother was an alcoholic, which she was, and I was born suffering from the effects of an alcoholic mother, why does that give you permission to hurt me over it? Was that something I chose? Did I choose to be born to a drug addict? Did I choose to be born to an alcoholic? Did I choose to be born in a car? Did I choose that? See, I don't think it's right for you people to make fun of people for their physical and mental disabilities that they have no control over. Even if I do have fetal alcohol syndrome, I have no control over the fact that I was born with that. That's not something that you get on your own. That would be something that came from my abusive, alcoholic mother, who herself died of alcoholism at 56. And And my family still won't admit was an alcoholic. She literally died of liver failure at 56, and the family is still out there saying she never drank in her life. Mary's a liar. The woman was an angel. She never did drugs. She never drank. Her husband never beat her. Mary's just the biggest liar in all of liarhood. You know the truth. You all know the truth. You found an actual victim, and it made you angry. Because you're not a victim. It made you angry because sometimes people look at me and they want to help me, and people don't want to help you because you don't need it. Because you're out here being cruel to people, earning thousands of dollars a day, destroying the lives of the mentally unwell for your own financial and just entertainment. And people like me just have to suffer and struggle and cry and beg to be heard and beg to be believed. How many years have I had to beg to be believed about the illnesses that I actually have, just to have you people come and diagnose me with your own illnesses that you want to make fun of me for? And you can't even understand how fucked up it is that you're doing this. You deny my real issues and then label me with things that you think are funny, like fetal alcohol syndrome. Please explain to me how a child being born to a woman who is severely alcoholic to the point that it has affected the child's chromosomes is hilarious. Please explain to me why that is so funny to the dark hearts that fill up my comment section since Adonis Paul started using my channel. Because those types of things aren't funny to me. And before Adonis Paul started using my channel, they weren't funny to my viewers. I had 350 people here before all of this began. I know, I'm close to 1,000 now. The extra 600 are all here to hurt and hate and make fun of and get content for their cult leaders. They do not care. They are not in my comments because they're supportive of me. They found me, and now they will never leave me alone. They will never allow me to be treated for the problems that I actually have. They'll never, ever stop. Because they found somebody alone in the world who is emotionally weak. And they're going to destroy that person because they can. And because nobody is ever going to stop them. And nobody is ever going to stop them specifically because I'm not worth it. I'm alone and I'm worthless. Literally worthless. I'm a woman that can't even have kids. I have zero worth to anybody in this world. That's why people are going to sit back and watch as this happens over and over and over again. Even after they tell me they've left, they're still going to have their friends in my comments hurting me. It's never going to be over. If I admit to you that it's possible I have FAS, will you allow me to get treatment for that? Will you allow me therapy for that? Will you allow me to be ill? Or is that something that you're just going to just take away from me again and say, no, you don't have that either. You're not allowed to have anything at all. You're not allowed to ever receive help for anything at all. You're not allowed to be treated like a human being. Ever. Ever. I'm never going to be allowed to be treated like a human being that's allowed to be sick, that's allowed to be hurt like everybody else. My illnesses are only allowed if other people find them absolutely hilarious.
And I know a lot of people are gonna say, shut up, nobody cares, stop crying, stop bitching, just go away, and none of it will matter. People will care one day. Because the people that are abusing me for my illnesses and my differences are the same people raising the children who are going to abuse your children when they go to school. And when your child goes to school and is massively harassed for a physical issue that they can't control, you're going to be upset. These kids don't learn to be cruel to each other on their own. They are learning it from their parents, and their parents are out there doing the same cruel things to adults who are disabled. That's why it's important that these people get called out. You know, they come into my comments and tell me, I watch you with my child and I laugh at you, and I tell my child to laugh at you. And then that child is going to go to school and find somebody that they want to laugh at. And the cycle is just going to continue repeating on decade after decade after decade. Hateful, cruel people create hateful, cruel children who grow up to be hateful, cruel people. Until the world is overpopulated with those who can't understand the basics of empathy or kindness. Because they see differences as something to be laughed at. They see weakness as something to be used. And they don't see people as people. I'll never be seen as a human being by these people, and these people include my own family. My own blood aunt just last year was telling people that I murdered my grandmother. Using posts that I posted that had nothing to do with any of it. Then saying this is proof that she's actually a murderer. Being mentally unwell doesn't automatically make you dangerous, but that's what you'll say. That's what you want. Because it's easier to see me as just being dangerous or faking everything than it is to understand that some people are just different. You've never understood that. Your parents raised you the way that you're raising your children, and it's wrong. And that's why it needs to be called out. If people would call out predators. And that's what Adonis Paul is. He is a predator. He seeks out the mentally weak and uses them for his profit. He is a predator. Not all predators are after children. Not all predators are after sex. There are different sorts of predatory behavior. The behavior of him and his followers to continue following me and hurting me and getting content for their channel where they can profit is predatory. And they should be stopped. They are not only predatory themselves, they are raising the next generation to believe that it's okay to treat other human beings like this. They are literally watching my videos with their children, laughing at them, teaching them to mock and belittle the mentally unwell. That's why they need to be known. That's why they need to be called out. It doesn't need to be a situation where they're allowed to remain anonymous so that they can continue finding other people to hurt. The bullies of the world should not be allowed to stay profitable and anonymous. Somebody has to one day look and see where it's all coming from. Because, like I said, the kids in the schools, they're not learning it themselves. They're learning it from their parents, and their parents are horrible people. Their parents are just, you would not imagine parents being so heartless to raise their children that way, to literally sit down with their children and watch videos of actual mentally ill people just to mock and belittle them and believe that they're teaching their child the right way to treat people. Because those children are going to grow up forever judging and harassing those that are different and not understanding that it's wrong, not understanding that people are people, that everybody deserves to be loved, and everybody deserves to be themselves, even if they're different. The predators who are trying to have me kill myself have children in school with yours. Will it matter when one of your children wants to hurt themselves because of it? Or will it just be another case of bullying that happens every day that nobody can stop? People could stop it if they would actually look, pay attention, and do something. They don't want to because it's easier to watch. It's easier to watch as the weak one in the group is killed. And keep yourself safe by just staying silent. People judge and mock and harass the mentally ill and even accuse us of making their lives worse without ever bothering to try to understand and work with us to make everybody's lives better. Recently, there was a man, his name I believe was Kevin. He worked in a place where they had the birthday party thing. They come with cake and singing and annoy you, and nobody likes it. Except for the cake part, which is why they do it. The person being sung at often doesn't like it because of all the attention. I used to hate it. When you go to a restaurant and your grandmother would tell people that it was your birthday so that everybody would come out and sing, and then everybody's staring at you at all the other tables, and you're taking waitresses away from doing their job, and everybody is staring at you like, what the fuck, bitch, there's 12 people over there with you and I need tea. You know. So I fully understand Kevin's issue. So, Kevin's birthday's coming up. He talks to the boss. He says, look, I have severe anxiety. I don't want to do the birthday thing. It will bother me, and I am requesting for my birthday to just be ignored. I don't want the birthday thing. They said fine. And then a couple of weeks later, when Kevin's birthday came up, they said they forgot. And they came around with the cake and the singing and the clapping and the screaming, and Kevin ran out to his car and did some breathing exercises to calm himself down. He had a panic attack, which he told them would happen. He went back in and finished his job. They contacted him and told him that he was the problem. That they were just trying to do something nice for him, and he made it a big problem. He made everybody feel bad. They were screaming at him, and he was upset, and he was hugging himself and rocking and trying to calm himself down and asking them if could they just stop, because they were saying things like, why are you being such a big baby about it? Everybody else loves this. Why can't you just be a team player? Just verbally belittling this man as he is trying to self-soothe. And then when he asked them to stop, they say, can you stop? You know, stop rocking, stop crying, stop trying to self-soothe yourself from our bullying. And he said, no, I can't. So they angrily left him alone in the room to finish self-soothing himself after their abuse. And then a couple of days later, they sent him a message saying, you're fired. You've hurt everybody in the company, and we don't want you here anymore. So he's suing for disability discrimination, as he should. I hope he shuts the whole fucking company down. In the lawsuit, the people that he's suing are trying to say that he hurt their employees. He hurt them by having a panic attack. He hurt them by requesting not to have his birthday celebrated. He hurt other people by being afraid of them. There was never any anger. There was never any violence. There was never any reason for anybody to believe they would be hurt. But the argument now is that they fired him because he hurt all of these people by not just going along with it. The argument is that the other people needed that celebration. They need your birthday. Imagine, other people need to celebrate your birthday because we don't give them enough at work. It's the only thing they have in their lives is that fucking cake. And the person that doesn't want the cake, well, he's not a team player. He's just a big baby, a big crybaby that doesn't need to be here. This is exactly the same type of behavior that I'm dealing with. These people came to my channel and started dictating what I was allowed to say and do on my channel. If I cried, they would say that I was overdramatic or being a baby or making it up. Not real. Nothing's ever real. None of my pain is real. None of my torment is real. My doctors weren't real. My therapist, my diagnoses, none of it, right? Because you came into my life and suddenly everything in my life was no longer real because it didn't work out for you. You needed me to be okay because you needed the cake. You needed the cake. And for over a year and a half, you guys got your cake. And now you're still wanting it. You won't just stop. Kevin's so lucky that he was working someplace that he could sue them. The people that are doing this to me, I can't sue them because I don't know who they are. All I can do is publicly let people know that they do these things because they're raising the people that are going to be tormenting your children. And at some point, it needs to be addressed. It needs to be stopped. People need to be taught that others with mental issues are not doing it to hurt you. If somebody doesn't want to celebrate their birthday because it's too much anxiety for them, they're not doing that to hurt the other people that like to celebrate birthdays. There's literally a birthday every single day of the year. You can find somebody else to go celebrate with and get your party on and have your fun without forcing another person who has problems with it to do it just so you can have your cake. Nobody's gonna fucking understand what this has to do with anything. If you've all had your cake, why would you want to understand?